Hi guys, I am here to do a video that I was asked to do ages ago, but I figured that I'd refilm it now because I never uploaded it, because I think that I can give better advice now and I can give more experience about it. If you're wondering what I'm wearing, to offset the extremely serious topic, obviously these are serious topics, Naruto's ended and I cried, and Doctor Who the finale is on tonight as well, so showing my support for fandoms whilst talking about A-level results, because that's apparently what you do. So I'm here to basically tell you what I got in my ASs, which is your first year of sixth form over here, and I'm also here to give a bit of advice for new sixth formers or people who are in sixth form and want to sort of change their ideas a bit, because someone who follows me on Instagram called Ben Clark asked me to make this, and I said that I would, and I did, but then I never actually uploaded it, so I'm sorry, and I'm doing it again because now I've got a better idea of what the hell I'm supposed to be doing. Folder of Doom, the great Folder of Doom, which holds all of my GCSE results and now my AS level results. So let's open the Folder of Doom and reiterate what I got last year that kind of made me cry a little bit on the inside. So, got my certificate thing there, and I've got my media results as well. So, English Lit, I did get an A, which I worked hard for by not reading the road past the first 26 pages and pretty much blagging my way through The Great Gatsby because I didn't really like the book. Would not recommend, that's my first tip for this video. If you are taking English literature, you will not be as lucky as I was with my questions last year. Basically, the big essay question for Part B was about the first line of the text that the author uses to give an effect. You will not have something that is as easy to apply as that, so never, never not read the books. You need to read them. Only reason why I didn't read The Road was because I hated it. I didn't like it. It wasn't my kind of book. And if it isn't your kind of book, I wouldn't recommend trying to force yourself through it because it will put you off trying to do it. But what I just sort of recommend doing is reading a summary of each of the chapters and making notes on that kind of thing, because if you can't read the book, like you literally can't read it, you still need to know what happens in it, so that's what I did, and that's sort of my advice. If you cannot read the book, if you cannot physically get through it, just make sure that you know what happens and you've got some key quotes and stuff like that sorted out for you, because you need them. You need them. And you need to know where they are. So, tip number 1, be prepared. Just reminds me of the bloody Lion King song. Oh well. General studies, which is like the worst subject ever. I didn't even do any lessons for it. I barely did any revision because you can't revise. You have no idea what the questions are going to be. It's a subject that you can't control, and I got a C, which is not bad considering that I didn't have a clue what was going to come up. I got an E in the first unit based on essays and writing to extended questions, and I got an A in the second unit based on mathematical problems and science questions. Please explain to me how that makes sense for someone like me. Please explain. I have no idea. But yeah, I'm doing it again. I'm doing Unit 1 again this year to hopefully get it up past an E, because an E, I have never gotten an E, ever. And I was just like, okay then, I have an E in conflict. Whatever that is. History, I got a D, which is something that I did get before at GCSE but didn't end up with it because I redid the exam, which is what I'm doing with history. I'm redoing it this year. I got a D in both units and the exact same mark in both units, even though I favoured Unit 2 about African American civil rights more than the first one about totalitarian dictatorships, which I can finally say, yeah. So even though I preferred civil rights, I still got the same mark in both, so clearly I just did not have the right brain for that day. Tip number 2, don't panic, because if you panic, your memory just switches off and you will be screwed. Last AS level that I got, because I have my BTEC as well, my last AS level was law. I got a C. I'm okay with that, to be honest. I did want higher, I did want an A, but considering what I felt like when I came out of the exam, which I felt like I had just fallen to pieces and was going to fail the entire thing, a C was the happiest thing for me to see on... C was the happiest thing for me to see. The happiest thing for me to see on my certificate provisional results thing. So yeah, I'm actually redoing history this year as an AS again. I'm not taking it onto A2, and I'm redoing law and taking it onto A2, so that's going to be 4 exams at once for law. Sounds like a lot, and general studies I'm going to have 3 because I'm doing the units 3 and 4 and unit 1 again. English I'm continuing straight on, and with the amount of points that I've got already, I actually have an E grade. Like, I could stop doing it right now and I'd qualify with an E grade overall, which is pretty comforting considering that I want the A star. So fingers crossed I'll be able to gather that up, and it should go pretty well. The rest of them, obviously I need more points from A2 for, but to be honest, English is pretty good for me right now. I feel kind of comforted by it. And then finally got my certificates and stuff for media. I got a distinction star in that, but disappointingly I got a merit in one unit, which is unusual, and I had my old media teacher from GCSE, he took the mick out of me for getting a merit. He was actually like proper ripping shreds out of me. Not because it was, you know, disappointing or anything, just because he found it funny, because the teacher that I've got now, they had sort of this like rivalry going on, and it was quite funny about how, you know, they're both teaching me media and who was better and all this stuff, so it was hilarious, and I didn't like hate him for it. He was my favourite teacher, and I just found it hilarious, and I'm getting up to a distinction this year, so it doesn't even really that matter, but I just found it funny. And yeah, despite getting the merit though, I still got a distinction star, which is bizarre, because at GCSE you had to get a distinction in every unit to get it, and at this apparently you don't, so I don't understand that. But yeah, the folder of doom. There is the folder of doom. So I've given a couple of tips already, and I am basically going to give you a few more now based on more general stuff, because they were quite specific to exam technique. Whereas what I'm going to say now is pretty much for throughout the year. You'll probably have heard some of them before, because they are the generic things that teachers and your friends and older pupils tell you to do, but these are genuinely the things that I would recommend. First thing, which is something that I have never done, because I am a nitwit. Nitwit? Is that the word? Yes, it is. I said it in 2 bits and it sounded odd. Nitwit, I never kept up with my work as I got it. That is something that you must do, and I'm trying to get there now. I'm trying to get everything done so I can start doing it as you get it. If you do it as you get it, so if you do it on the night that you get it, you do not have to worry about it ever again. You have done it. You don't have to worry about handing it in, you know, late. You don't have to try and cram it in the night before or anything. You are absolutely comfortable with what you've done, and you don't feel bad, and any time that you've got after that is your own time. Especially this year when I have 7 lessons in one day. I just had so much to do on that night that I couldn't do it, so then I sort of staggered it around the week. And because you get work every single day, every single lesson, it's not great. So always, always, children, keep up with your work, because you will regret it. And hopefully, I pray for you that you don't have the terrible timetables that I do for Tuesdays, because it is awful. I will show you it, actually. It is actually disgusting. So you can see, you know, Monday's not bad, Wednesday's not bad, Thursday's not bad, Friday's not bad, Tuesday is awful, both weeks, so yeah, that is why I tend to fail a lot, but other than that, I'm pretty much okay. I can do my work in my free periods, or after school until 7 PM, as it has recently been, or on training days, which I did yesterday. My school had a training day, I went into school. That is how much of a swat and a nerd I am, guys. That's why I wear the uniform. But anyway, tip number 2, which is something that I also do now, which is really, really useful. I personally don't like the idea of a planner. I don't really see it, but you must always write down your homework. Don't just, you know, take a picture of it on your phone and just leave it, or, you know, write it down on a scrap of paper and put it in your book. Keep it all in one place. I actually have a small blue notebook, which I use at the minute. I'll get that as well. I should have prepared these things, but I haven't, because I'm an absolute idiot. This thing, it's not a planner. I could use my planner, but I don't like it. I don't know why. And I think it's something to do with the fact that the boxes are unrealistically small. They try and con you that you won't have that much work, but you do. So I've got this little blue notebook that I write my work in. I use different coloured pens for different coloured subjects. Funnily enough, I'm also colour coordinated. I have colour coordinated the colour of the pen to the colour of the file that I use for that subject, because I am a nerd. That is what I do. And when I've done it, I just highlight it with a highlighter, usually a yellow one, just so it looks pretty and consistent. And I would obviously, that's what I'm saying, recommend to keep it all in one place, because you know where it is and you can look, you can check, you will feel comfortable. If it's not in here, then you don't have it. That is literally the answer to any homework related query that you have. Have a planner or have a book. Do something. I'm losing my voice, I'm getting so passionate about ranting about sixth form. Third tip is to keep your notes organised. Do not just throw them randomly in your folder or have it in a wrong order, because if your teacher asks you to find something to use in a lesson and you cannot find it, they will not have endless spare copies to give you, endless sort of spare sheets. You will be responsible for your own notes, for your own learning. It is your responsibility, no one else's, to keep your notes collected, in order, and sorted in date order if you prefer that, so you can do it as you do the work, you put it in that order, so you can go back to September and you know what you did then, or you can go to like November and you can find everything you did in November. Personally, I do it by topic, so any work that we do on, say, exam technique, I'll put it all in a plastic wallet in my folder, so I can just flick to that if I want to find out how to answer questions. If I have a particular area, so in history, for example, I'm doing the 1930s, I will have a folder for the 1930s, a plastic wallet rather, in my folder for the 1930s, and I'll put all my sheets for that in there. I personally do it like that because it's easier considering the topics and the subjects that I've got, but for you, it might be easier to do it in date order. I don't know. Do what you want. Do not, this is something that I am so guilty of, when writing notes, do not overdo it. Only do what you have to do. That is like the biggest tip that I have ever been given, and that I would like, in my wisdom, to pass on to you now. Because if you spend your time writing loads of notes that you don't really need, if you're not just taking the key facts and you're trying to take everything, you won't learn it. The things that you absolutely need are the things that you want to write down and that you want to learn. I have been criticised so badly for it, and it's actually true that you don't need to do it like that, so just don't. Tip number 4. I am actually burning my throat out doing this. Tip number 4 is to basically ensure that you know where you are, and if you don't feel comfortable, if you're not happy with something, ask about it. Ask the teacher, email them, do something to let them know that you are not okay with what's going on and that they need to help you understand, because if you don't understand, you won't do well. That is the literal, that is it. That is the biggest thing. So say if I don't understand a concept in history, it's no good me sitting there thinking, oh, I don't know what that is, but okay, I'll just keep on listening. I need to put my hand up and I need to say, Miss, I don't understand what you just said there. Can you explain it, please? And 10 to 1, there will be other people in the room around you that don't understand it either. So you will not be only doing yourself a favour, you'll be doing them a favour and saving them embarrassment that you think you'll have, which you won't, because you don't look stupid. You just look like you're interested in what you're learning and that you're eager to learn. It's not a bad thing to ask questions and to ask for help. It's a really, really good thing, and it's a skill that you really need for like university or a job or anything. It's a really good skill to know that you're comfortable asking questions and comfortable with finding out what you need to know. So don't feel awkward if you don't know something or if you don't understand. Ask. Make sure you ask. It's really, really important. And finally, my 5th tip, which I think will probably have to be my last one before my throat entirely dries up and makes me die. I would like to add about free periods. I have been actually spoken to by 2 members of the sixth form team recently because I'm in a group of friends, and sometimes in our free periods we play card games with, you know, just normal playing cards, decks of, you know, 52 cards, that kind of thing. We make little games out of cards and we play those during our free periods sometimes, and it's only during the same free periods, but what's been happening is we've been noticed not doing work during those free periods, and even though it's the same periods every week, people are just thinking that we're not doing anything. And the key thing that I'm trying to take from this is, do not waste your time. Like, if you have free periods in a day and you have lessons later, don't waste them just sat around talking to your mates. If you have work to do, do that first and then do whatever you want else later, because that's what we do. We do our work first and then we play card games or whatever later. And if we do have something to do, we'll obviously put the card games off and we'll do all the work first, because it's important to get your work done. It's all good having fun. Like, you can always swap the other 2 around sometimes if you feel like you've got enough time later. But if you have work to do, it's better to do it in school time so that you don't have to waste your time afterwards. So after school, you don't have to stay behind, you don't have to go home and just work for 5 hours straight. You can use the time that's been given to you to do that, and you can get it all done before you even go home. And then when you get home, you can enjoy yourself, you can do what you want. And in any other spare free periods that you've got, you can do whatever you want in those as well. It's about keeping up with the work during the time that you've got, not only after school as homework, but also in the free time that you've got in school, where you've got all the resources of the library, your teachers, the computers, the online systems, the internet. You've got all of those resources at school, and it is really, really valuable to use the time that you've got there as effectively as you can, and then have the fun. Whatever you like doing, you can go out and play football or whatever, you can do stuff like that. It's important to do the work first and think about the free time later, because if you think about the free time first, you will stress yourself out trying to do all the work later on, and it won't go as well for you as if you did it first and then had the free time after. So, yeah, those are my 5 tips. I cannot actually talk properly. I have literally used up all of the water in the back of my throat, so I need a drink now. I need a drink. So I hope that was useful. I hope you enjoyed listening to my AS results. I've got, I think it's going to be something like 7 subjects this year, which is bizarre. I've got A2 English Lit, AS History, AS Law and A2 Law, AS General Studies and A2 General Studies, A2 Media, but we're redoing parts of AS Media, and Extended Project. I don't really know whether to count the AQA Baccalaureate as a thing. If I do, that's 10 subjects that I'm doing when you're only supposed to be doing 3, maybe 5 maximum. I guess I am just a crazy idiot who will learn her lesson within a few weeks. So, yeah. Hope you enjoyed the video. Sorry if you didn't really like my fashion sense. I rather enjoyed it. It's keeping my ears warm in this really horrible, cold, wet climate. Give the video a like if it was useful to you, and let me know in the comments if you've got any questions that you'd like me to answer. I will be obviously happy to do that. And I would just like to mention that my next video I might actually make about UCAS, which is something that we have in the UK for applying to university. I sent mine off today. I have completely finished it, and now I'm waiting for my offers from universities. If you'd want me to give you some advice on how to write a personal statement or how to fill in your application or anything like that, let me know about that as well. I'll be happy to do that. I'm not really sure I'm qualified to do so, but obviously I'll try if you want. And that's basically it. So I'll see you guys in my next video. See you later. Siri thinks I'm talking to it. That's quite funny. Oh my god, it's recorded what I've said. It's still, oh my god, it's recording what I've said. Hang on. This is hilarious.